What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about HCWC. Break it down on their recent earnings, what it's signaling, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So HCWC has been getting more and more attention, more volume. And so just on Wednesday, there was 822,000 in volume. 610 is the average, largely because of their earnings. So their earnings did cause it to go from sub $1 to as high as $1.94. So pretty positive stuff. Lucky to those individuals that did buy in. But since then, it's been going down. A couple different attributing factors. One is just the broader market sucks. Just alone on Wednesday, it went down 24.38%. So again, that's one factor that's causing it to go down. Secondly, it's their earnings. So even though essentially their earnings was a good improvement, it's still not really justifying those prices. And plus, there is a couple of red flags that I do want to go over and everything. But getting right to it, though, they did submit their earnings on January the 6th. And I always like to give credit when credit is due. So in the past, when HCMC or now HCWC has been improving, I always give them credit. So starting off, they did submit their earnings as of September 30th, 2024, 1.7 million in cash and cash equivalents. So a good amount of runway, and especially if you look right here, basically they burned 372,000 from operations. Nice improvement. Year prior is 1.2 million. So again, kind of just doing the basic math, they have about a year and a half runway, and at the same time, given this information, they're most likely going to be obtaining profitability around that same time period, but definitely like leaps and bounds ahead of what they have been and making good improvements. 18.2 million in sales, so definitely something to take note of. In previous videos, I've kind of gone through this very vaguely, but a couple of things I generally like to look at. So is cash and cash equivalents, how much they're burning through, revenue, and then just generally looking at this section right here for dilution. So they have 560 million authorized at the time of this. So September the 30th, there was 9.8 right here. So when it comes down to it, I think there was some dilution behind the scenes, but as you can kind of see right here from the S1, there was 7 million in Class A, 2.3 in Class B. So works out to be 9.3. So there has been some dilution, but I think there still is going to be a significantly greater amount coming down the pipeline. So I think seeing at the end of December that earnings, that's going to be a lot more critical, and most likely, if I was to put an estimate, we'd be at the roughly 11 million for the outstanding share count right now. But nonetheless, though, I think it's a lot of that attributed to that kind of that note, convertible note, very toxic stuff. Lower the price, more shares are issued, blah blah blah. But again, getting back to the actual operations, it is good. Couple red flags that I want to bring up is if we pop over back to HCMC, they did submit their earnings as of September the 30th, and it is to note they did the spin-off September the 13th. So HCMC right here, you can kind of see right here, as of September 30th, they are quoting 2.5 million in cash and cash equivalents. All of that, for the most part, was moved with that. So they technically, like, I don't know, I think they did some incorrect accounting under HCMC, but this 2.3 million, like going from 2.5 million to 1.7, what happened? Where did that go? So I guess we'll just have to wait and see for the next HCMC earnings, just to see if that should be at roughly around that 600,000, or if that was set aside for maybe to pay lawyers and whatever else, because we now know that the lawsuit didn't really amount to anything. And even if you look at the HCMC earnings, it's pretty much they're a dead company. So that's kind of my only red flag, is just where did that 600,000 go? Because yeah, there's incorrect accounting going on, which most likely that's why the accounting firm just abruptly quit. But at the same time, it definitely is something to take note of. Operational wise, though, like I said, I think they are making significant improvement. Economy is definitely very, very strong. There's been several rate cuts. even since September the 30th. So technically their next earnings as well should show a good amount of growth. Consumers' buying power has definitely been increasing. So I think in general, this is a okay company, not amazing company, but is okay if you're into this type of stuff. Again, going back over here, I don't think the multiple is justifying where it is at right now. So I think in general, it does still need to be roughly around 50% from these levels just to factor in like this current amount of revenue. And so essentially that would equate to another reverse stock split. I've gone through all of this in the past. Still, despite the very nice bump up in the price right here, you actually didn't see any big money buying it on the secondary market. So a lot of that abnormal volume was attributed to algorithmic trading. And it wasn't necessarily even shorts. Shorts haven't really done all that much. You can kind of see 12.91% of the free floats is being shorted. Works out to be 304,000 shares overall are being shorted. So you see a little bit more activity, but still the majority of the volume is linked to algorithmic trading. And potentially, if you look at the terms of the whole convertible note, what happens is that the note holders essentially can only have a certain hold a certain amount of the free float at one time. So what they do is they essentially sell out, so they don't have any shares. They convert, which based on the terms, it kind of, especially if it's going from a low to a high price, it causes the price to go higher on the secondary market, and it gets those note holders more shares. So this is why I've covered a couple other stocks that do this convertible notes, whether it be through preferred stock or physical note. But it's very, very damaging on the stock itself. So that bump up in the price that did occur on January the 6th right here, it could have been associated to dilution as well occurring. Regrettably, we won't find out until May, because that's the next time that they'll have to submit as of May 30th or March 31st. So yeah, all in all, not necessarily the best. Like I said, lucky to those individuals that did buy in the day prior, but still it is what it is. But still something to note, the fact that shorts are getting in because cost to borrow is also increasing. Currently the average is 141.99%. So this definitely is not a squeeze play, don't get me wrong. It's very deserving of it going down as much as it has, even based on the S1s. Before anyone was even, the spinoff even occurred, I did videos stating that it was going to pull back to roughly around that $2.50 to $3 range. That's what even management is forecasting, or was forecasting, in the S1s. All you had to do was read between the lines and whatever else. So yeah, as far as the actual company itself, I think it is good. Is it a viable business to buy right now? I think there's a lot of better opportunities out there, and most likely this will still essentially go down. Profitability, assuming they continue the status quo, will occur in probably around a year and a half. But again, if you want to hold it for a year and a half with it potentially going down 50%, that's on you. But yeah, I think in general, it is what it is. And that's kind of, it's such low expectations for it right now. So something to note though is still no Form 4s from management. So management are still not buying it. So as I've stated in previous videos, the best time to buy HCWC is when you see management buying it with their own money, and that has yet to happen. So again, that's just my own thoughts on it. You do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Let me know your thoughts on HCWC. Are you buying? Do you believe in the company? Was there any other highlights that stood out to you from their earnings that I didn't necessarily talk on? So yeah, what's your viewpoint on all of that? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals, stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them in the month and a half that I've launched it have already doubled. Some have quadrupled. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there. Link in the description below, and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.